Winter is a great time to focus on cozy foods, and it's also a great time to feed yourself and your family a little more carefully. The holidays are over here, and after enjoying such a long time of celebration and rich, sugary foods, our bodies naturally feel the need to look for more nutritious food. And today, I'm going to share some recipes as well as how I dehydrate fresh ginger root to save for use throughout the year. So here's some ideas on how we incorporate ginger into our meals and into the foods that we take. And I hope you can get some great ideas on how you can incorporate them as well after the holidays. And our immune systems really do want the extra support come January. Ginger is a powerhouse of nutrients. It's a natural antibiotic. It's antioxidant rich. It supports gut health and tummy troubles. There are so many great benefits to ginger, and it's wonderful for the immune system and overall health. You can see benefits from ginger on my blog post, Ginger, Honey, and Lemon Benefits for Your Family. One of our favorite go-to meals has been rice bowls. You can do rice bowls so many ways. You can do it as like a Mexican rice bowl. You can do it more of an Asian style. I slowed down this rice bowl meal after we had to avoid rice for our oldest son's autoimmune system because of his autoimmune disorder, PANDAS. But I still do it using cauliflower rice or finely chopped cauliflower that's fried on the stove with oil and salt and pepper. It's just another form of vegetables that you can get in, but it kind of has the texture of rice and it's pretty mild, and so it does work to put toppings onto that instead of rice if you can't do rice. In this dish, I'm cooking chicken with salt and pepper, and then we're going to be adding leeks and garlic and carrots. The ingredient that adds the savory sweet flavor is coconut aminos. It's a great substitute for soy sauce without the gluten, and so we're not able to do wheat in our house. Soy sauce generally has wheat in it, and so this is just a really great alternative, and it has a sweet flavor to it, so it has more of a teriyaki style sweetness. So I cover the chicken and I let the chicken cook for a little bit before coming back and then adding in the vegetables. And then we'll cover it again and we'll just let it simmer about low to medium heat in between there for another 15-20 minutes. I'm actually cooking with only one burner, so my rice is going to be made in the Instant Pot. Yeah, you'd never know this by seeing all of the videos I'm doing, but we have had some issues with our stove. Fun fact about rice, even though it's thought to be just pure carbs, rice will act as a resistant starch when it's refrigerated for 24 hours. So if you take it out after 24 hours of refrigeration and just let it warm to room temperature, then it will actually be a resistant starch in your meal. Look it up. It's pretty neat. This is a meal that the ginger that I added in is going to be sliced up. And I don't want to have too big of slices because I don't want people to have to crunch through it. It really depends on if you're cooking for kids or people who are more into Asian food. But that's a great thing, is to just take note of how big you're going to be chopping your ginger up. I have to make sure most of the time when I use ginger that it's pretty minced or in very small pieces. Did you know that ginger snaps can be made using fresh ginger? This is the first time I've tried this, and they turned out wonderful. Everyone loved them, and these are made with einkorn flour. Einkorn flour is the original wheat. It's thousands of years old, and it's anti-inflammatory. It has a very low gluten content, and I should say the gluten is a lot weaker than the gluten that we have in our modern day wheat. In fact, a lot of people who are sensitive to gluten are able to eat einkorn. We love it in our household. But if you're looking for a completely gluten-free recipe, try Danielle Walker's gingerbread recipe from her Celebrations cookbook. We use that as well because my son can't do any wheat right now. And we make this as our gingerbread house every year. In the case of this year, it was a gingerbread castle. But yeah, if you're looking for a gluten-free recipe, that's where I would go. Melt the butter or coconut oil first before adding it to the bowl. This actually helps the fats absorb into the bread better when they're liquidized. Einkorn absorbs fats very slowly, and so trying to melt them first will help it, and it'll also help strengthen the gluten in it. So that's one of the tips I have for making this. I find it funny that we have never used fresh ginger in ginger snaps or gingerbread before. It's just kind of funny to me how we always go towards the things that are in a jar rather than going to the fresh things. And that's just kind of become a habit for us. But the fresh ginger in these cookies gives them a wonderful flavor, and it doesn't take over the cookie. I do recommend that the ginger is minced up very finely so that people are not finding this chewy ginger, because you know, you want the ginger cookies to be chewy, but you don't necessarily want to find a big chunk of ginger to chew on in the cookie. These are made with a half a cup of butter that's melted, or you can melt coconut oil, as I do in this recipe, half a cup of coconut sugar, a third a cup of maple syrup, and then I added in 2 teaspoons of the fresh minced ginger root and 1 large egg. For the dry ingredients, I used 2.5 cups of whole grain einkorn. I used a teaspoon of baking soda and a half of a teaspoon of sea salt, as well as another teaspoon of cinnamon. I baked these at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes or so. I definitely recommend rolling them in some sugar. I used the natural turbinado sugar, which is just raw cane sugar, but it's in bigger pieces, and you can definitely see them sparkle on these cookies, and they do add a good sweetness to the spice. I also really loved dipping these cookies in white chocolate. I think that might be for a special occasion, but you can definitely dip them in white chocolate or dark chocolate to give them a little extra elegance. The kids also like them a little bit more when you do that too. So the way that I dipped them in the chocolate was I put the cookies first into the freezer to make sure that they were cool. You really only have to do this for probably 15 or 20 minutes just to get the cookies to be cool. And then you'll melt some of the white chocolate with some coconut oil. And then you can take your cookies out, you can dip them in to your white chocolate and put them on a plate, put them into the refrigerator for a few minutes to set, and you've got your cookies. You can find the recipes for both the cookies as well as the tea that we're making today on my blog, and the links to those are in the comment box below. And by the way, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. I'd love to have you along, and click the like button on this video too, and leave me a message. Give me a comment. I love to hear from you guys. So I found it easiest to cut ginger by cutting off the little fingers that stick out. And this way, you're only having to cut one direction at a time. It's pretty hard to just try and cut around the whole thing when there's all these little fingers sticking out. So it definitely helps to cut those off first. I'm spreading these small slices on my dehydrator shelf, and then I will just pop them into the dehydrator and let them go. I'd love to try doing candied ginger sometime, but at this point I'm just saving my ginger in order to use it for teas and possibly for soups later in the year. If you do use the dehydrated ginger for soup, make sure that you mince it well, because there is a little bit of a texture difference once you dehydrate the ginger. And it might be a little bit tougher to chew, and so I do use the dried herbs and dried foods in order to use them for my tea. But when you're doing that, you're not actually having to chew them. So I definitely recommend to mince them up quite a bit if you're going to put the dried foods into your soups. I've discovered great benefits from the combination of ginger and lemon and honey. These three ingredients are all powerhouses for the body. And in this tea recipe, I use fresh ginger sliced, and then I steep it in a saucepan of water for about 10 to 15 minutes. Let it cool a bit. And then I add in fresh lemon juice and honey. This is great for colds and flu. It's really helpful for your body with all the benefits that these things have. Again, check out the blog post that I have on this, and you can see so many benefits that ginger and the lemon juice and the honey give. It's hard to believe that these three ingredients can help promote both detox and cardiovascular health. They can help fight cancer and more. It's just amazing, some of the foods that God has given us. And it's really fun to be able to actually use them in everyday habits that we have, like drinking tea. Do you have any special ways that you use ginger in your kitchen? Do you have a meal? Do you have a special treat that you make? Do you know how to make candied ginger? Because man, I would love to hear how to make some candied ginger. Let me know in the comment box below what you like to do with ginger. And I hope that this video has been inspiring and just helped you to be more creative in the kitchen and helped you to find ways of bringing more nourishment into your home. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you had fun hanging out in the kitchen. I had fun and I had a lot of great food during the midst of it. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon in the next video. Bye-bye.